Hi everybody, and welcome to Accounting and Accountability. This week, our show is very specifically around results for our autumn session at UTS in 2022. We are wearing the same clothes because we're filming this on the same day because I'm going to be in Melbourne next week.
Yes.
So
no, we don't wear the same clothes every week.
We're the same clothes every week.
Yeah.
But it does look like that. So Nelson has a set of questions.
Yes.
And since I probably do the most answering about this on Confessions,
Yeah.
and if you haven't checked out UTS Confessions on Facebook. So what sort of questions do you think students are going to have, or the important information they should know?
Okay, so I guess the first most obvious question is, when do results come out?
All right, results come out on Monday, the 4th of July, 2022. I think they're available from some early morning hour, like 2 a.m. or something
early,
like that. But officially the results release time is supposed to be 9 a.m.
Yeah.
This means, are we allowed to talk about results before 9 a.m.?
No.
No.
Don't get in contact before then.
You could send us an email, we'll just file it in the folder of ones we're going to take care of.
Yeah, so once you see the result, then inquire about it.
Exactly.
So, but from 9 a.m.
And don't send us more than one email. I get students who send me an email like every hour from 2 a.m. right through to like 10 a.m.
Yeah.
By the time I get to their email, just send one.
Yeah, because I think I don't know if it works for you as well. Like they just bunch up and then just goes to the end of my queue.
It just goes to the end.
So just sort of send one, and the first email you get, that will be the one that gets prioritized.
Exactly.
Because if you keep sending the same email, replying,
Yeah, we're not looking at our emails at 4 o'clock in the morning. No.
So although the results come out on the 4th of July, there's also apparently this hack to see your result before that.
Sneaky hack. So there are two things you can do. Number one, you can check the credit points that you've gained. So you can either generate your transcript or you can look on your online student admin, and if you see more credit points added, if you see 24 credit points and you've studied 4 subjects, you've passed all 4 of those subjects.
Yeah.
If you see less credit points than you think you've done, that means that you failed something along the way or that the result is withheld.
Yes.
You could also look at your study plan. So the reason this all comes about is that one UTS system needs to be updated before results are released. And so that update happens over the weekend. So you can do this on Saturday or Sunday. Keep an eye on Confessions because students are always posting about whether the hack is available to use or not.
Yeah.
So they'll say, like someone will say, like, yes, I tried it. The other one is to look at your study plan. So if you were studying AAA with us and it then appears again on your spring study plan, that means you didn't pass. So that's the way to find out. But again, if you find out, you could still email us on the Saturday or the Sunday.
Yes.
We just can't reply to you.
We can't give you any other information.
That's all that. So, we don't want to get in trouble from the university.
So you mentioned the grade. So obviously there are the standard grades, like a P for a pass, C for credit, a D for a distinction, HD, or a Z if you got less than 50. Are there any others that students need to be aware of?
There are 2 other grades. So one of those is a W. A W grade is used in a couple of different circumstances. Number one, you've got an active misconduct case ongoing. You can receive a W if you don't have a student ID in the UTS system.
Yes.
And you couldn't complete your Proc.
But you would have been contacted about that.
You will have already received an email from the exams project about that. The other one is if ProcDU has flagged an incident and they're investigating. I just thought of one more. 4, if you haven't completed the consent matters module.
Yes.
Which then you need to complete, and then the university will arrange a release of your marks. So that's just something to be aware of.
Yes.
Now, the other grades, it's very complicated. W, T is for students, if you're graduating and in your very last semester and you failed just one subject, you'll get a T for a supplementary exam. However, T is also used for students who experienced a technical issue or illness or a misadventure during their test, and their coordinator has granted another AI invigilated exam. So you could see a T or a W. In those instances, you can always just contact your coordinator if you want to clarify.
But there is usually some sort of action that you need to take, and it should be very clear to you what the action is. If
it's to sit another test, that test will the timetable for that will be released and in your online student admin, the same place where you find out the rest of your exam information normally.
Around that sort of 4th of July period. All right, so let's say you've gotten your mark now. and you want to query it. You're not too sure why you got that particular mark. What should you do?
The first thing you can do is ask for a breakdown of your result. In AAA, we actually proactively send every single student a breakdown. You get an automated email from us. But if you don't get one from your coordinator, you can write back saying, oh, look, could I get a breakdown of my final exam? And that's one way that you can sort of get some idea of where you got marks and where you might have lost marks.
Yep.
And that's the thing that you should do by email, very politely, of course. Like you would write any business email, dear so-and-so, may I please have a breakdown of my final exam mark?
Yeah.
And then you just wait.
Yeah, and any subject coordinator would be happy to oblige, tell you what your mark is.
They have 5 days to get back to you. So if it's not within the first 20 minutes of you sending the email, don't worry.
Okay, and let's say you get your breakdown, you're like, this doesn't seem to make sense. What can you do then?
So the next step, if you're unhappy with that mark, is not to send us an abusive email.
No.
Like, I think I should have passed, blah, 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 blah. What you do is you will search the internet for UTS review of result, and there is a special document to fill in. So there's a PDF that is to request a review of your result, and that's where you put in your details, your mark, and you tell us why you think there's a problem with your mark.
Yeah.
Like, my assignment said 65, but in the breakdown you sent me, it says only 45.
Yes.
What is going on there?
Yeah.
And so you just need to explain in the box why you think it's incorrect. You can't just say, or you could just say, I think my mark is too low, but that's not going to give us any explanation of why you think that mark is not appropriate. So, if you've applied for special consideration and if you're not sure whether special consideration was taken into account, you can put that all in there. The other thing might be if the assessments change.
Yes.
It's very rare that your assessments might change during the term, but if that has happened and you're not sure, then you can apply for the review of the result.
Yeah.
And you can't apply it. This is one thing. If you want to apply for special consideration, it's too late.
Yep.
You should have done that at the time of the exam or the assessments. You cannot apply for having COVID, having other disruptions at the date of results release.
Yeah.
We can't accept anything. So the rules actually say that we are prevented from accepting or providing special consideration unless it's within 2 days of the assessment task or a week for non-final exams.
Absolutely. So a subject coordinator cannot change marks unless there is a really, really good reason. So there is actually genuinely a mistake in the assessment or something hasn't been taken into account that should have been known at the time of the exam was marked or any assessment was marked.
And that was always a bigger thing. Mistakes were always more likely when we had marking by hand. Like, it says 6 on the front and somebody typed in 4 by accident.
Yeah.
But now that most exams are marked on Canvas, Canvas does all of the automatic tabulation. So it's very rare that there's an error in the calculation. But if you think there is, you should also attach any evidence that you might have had about things. Yeah,
so definitely the key here is you need to have a really good reason for requesting a review.
And we have 5 days. So you have to submit that request so the results release is on Monday, the 4th of July. You have to submit by Friday, that Friday, by 5 o'clock, your request for a review.
Yep.
And we have a week once we've received it to look at it and then respond back to you. Now, do you know what happens if you're still unhappy? You probably don't get things.
Well, you can potentially go to the ombudsman.
The next step is that's extreme. You would if you're unhappy with your review, so you've requested a review, you get the response, you're unhappy with it, you can still apply for an RAO, which is the Responsible Academic Officer review, which will be, I think my coordinator did the review incorrectly, here is why, and that will come to me or the department head. So it'll go to the department head or the deputy head. So I'm the deputy head education. Those will come to me then for me to independently review. And so again, those can be lodged at any time, but just follow the instructions on the review of results page of UTS and you'll be able to get all the information about what to do.
Absolutely.
So otherwise, if you didn't fill out your student feedback survey for your subject, and you would like to send your tutor or your coordinator a nice email, they would always appreciate, Nelson, I really enjoyed the workshops.
Yeah.
Or, you always gave great skincare tips.
Yeah.
Whatever it might be.
Yes.
They would always appreciate that by email if you didn't get to submit that via the student feedback survey as well. So, now you're all ready for results release. We wish you all the best of luck. Obviously, you can't change anything at this point, but we hope that you've got the marks that you have wanted.
Yep.
And our next show will actually be filmed in Melbourne at the Accounting and Finance Conference of Australia and New Zealand.
Yes.
So if there's anything you want to know about accounting and finance, academics, jobs, the professional associations, we will be there at the conference talking to all these fantastic people. So if you have any of those questions, use our Microsoft form to get in touch with us, or if you want to shout out.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Thanks, everyone. Thanks very much, everybody. I don't know what was going on. Let's take two.
Okay.
All right. Thanks very much, everybody.
Bye.